every person has the right to practice sport without discrimination. All athletes participating in the boxing tournament of the Olympic Games Paris 2024 comply with the competition's eligibility rules and entry regulations, as well as all applicable medical regulations set by the Paris 2024 Boxing Unit, PBU. As with previous Olympic boxing competitions, the gender and age of the athletes are based on their passport. These rules are also applied during the qualification period, including the boxing tournaments of the 2023 European Games, the Asian Games, the Pan American Games and the Pacific Games, the ad hoc 2023 African qualifying tournament in Dakar, and 2 world qualifying tournaments held in Busto Arsizio in Italy and Bangkok in 2024, which involved a total of 1,471 different boxers from 172 national Olympic committees. The boxing refugee team and individual neutral athletes and featured over 2,000 qualification bouts. The PBU used the Tokyo 2020 boxing rules as a baseline to develop its regulations for Paris 2024. This was to minimize the impact on athletes' preparations and guarantee consistency between Olympic Games. These 2020 rules were based on the post-Rio 2016 rules, which were in place before the suspension of the Boxing International Federation by the IOC in 2019 and the subsequent withdrawal of its recognition in 2023. We've seen in reports misleading information about 2 female athletes competing in the Olympic Games Paris 2024. The 2 athletes have been competing in international boxing competitions for many years in the women's category, including at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020, International Boxing Association World Championships and IBA-sanctioned tournaments. These 2 athletes were the victims of a sudden and arbitrary decision by the IBA. Towards the end of the IBA World Championships in 2023, they were suddenly disqualified without any due process. According to the IBA minutes available on their website, this decision was taken initially solely by the IBA Secretary General and CEO. The IBA board only ratified it afterwards and only subsequently requested that a procedure to follow in similar cases in the future be established and reflected in the IBA regulations. The minutes also say that the IBA should establish a clear procedure on gender testing. The current aggression against these 2 athletes is based entirely on this arbitrary decision, which was taken without any proper procedure, especially considering that these athletes had been competing in top-level competition for many years. Such an approach is contrary to good governance. Eligibility rules should not be changed during an ongoing competition, and any rules change must follow appropriate processes and should be based on scientific evidence. The IOC is committed to protecting the human rights of all athletes participating in the Olympic Games, as per the Olympic Charter, the IOC Code of Ethics, and the IOC Strategic Framework on Human Rights. The IOC is saddened by the abuse that the 2 athletes are currently receiving. The IBA's recognition was withdrawn by the IOC in 2023 following its suspension in 2019. The withdrawal of recognition was confirmed by the Court of Arbitration in Sport. The IOC has made it clear that it needs national boxing federations to reach a consensus around a new international federation in order for boxing to be included on the sports programme of Olympic Games LA 2028.